You found the STIHL National Championship Air Races, presented by Reno Tahoe.
Race control, Silverjet's ready to take off.
So great to be with you here from the STIHL National Championship Air Races and Air Show. We missed it so terribly last year. We are back in business. This legendary event, unique in all the world of sports. All kinds of racing going on today. The first full day of racing all the way through Sunday. Tommy Sanders here with Rob Lowe. Such a pleasure to have Rob with us in the booth here, and the, you know, going 50 feet off the desert floor at 500 miles an hour, scaring the jackrabbits and bending the prickly pear and the sagebrush. That's appealing just right in there, but there's so much more to our jet class.
Yeah, absolutely, Tommy. Man, it's exciting to be here. We are so excited to see this. This is the first one of this class that we've seen. Like you said, over 500 miles an hour. We're going to see 6 laps around our largest 8-mile course. And it's going to be really exciting. You know, they do an air start, Tommy, in this class where they're going to depart here in reverse qualifying order. They're going to get up airborne, circle around Peavine Mountain behind us, and then they'll join up on the pace plane, which we'll see here in just a minute. And then eventually they're going to come down the chute and head down into the race, and we'll talk about the course here in just a minute. Always
very exciting racing here among the jet class. This is Jet 1B. This is the silver qualified class right here. Somebody's looking to take this first heat here in 1B and maybe enhance their chances of moving up, maybe get into the gold class before it's all over. Lots of jet racing coming up over the next 3.5 days. Getting in the afternoon on a perfect day here at Reno Stead Airport here, just north of Reno. Light or almost no breeze right now. Room temperature, just perfect conditions, man.
Yeah, perfect conditions, Tommy. You couldn't ask for a better time, and the fans are just pouring in by the droves right now here at the National Championship Air Races, our 57th running, and here we get to see the fastest planes on the planet at the fastest motorsport in the world. So we're excited. You can see there's David Sterling, race 8, as he begins to take the runway for departure. He's our top qualifier in this heat, Tommy.
Yeah, 431 miles an hour. Race number 8 is Dave Sterling from San Diego, California.
Well, Tommy, as we watch Dave depart, important information about this class is it's limited to production aircraft. They can't have swept wings, no afterburners, and the ejection seats, if they have them, have to be disarmed the week while they're here. And here's our second qualifier, race 555.
Mike Steiger from Texas actually won the gold medal in American Spirit, another jet which is not competing here this week. Mike's a fine pilot. Diana Stanger, she's one of the rookies in our field here. With the Dark Star, we've seen Vicky Benzing at the helm of this one before, events past, recent years here at Reno.
And there's race 19, Charlie Camilleri in blue ice. Beautiful paint scheme. Look at the tail flash on that aircraft. Beautiful, beautiful L-39 there.
So great to have Charlie. He's a real fixture in the jet racing here at Reno. Jerry Kirby, Jive Kirby, had a great outing last time in 2019. Had a terrific start and a bit of bad luck, and looking to avenge in a different plane this time.
Yeah, absolutely. He's in race 11 this year, and here's followed by Scott Farnsworth in race 38 in the Bandit. Now, Tommy, all of these aircraft in this particular heat are L-39s, Aerovoda L-39s. Now, in the class, we have a number of different type jets. We've got L-29s as well as the Marchetti S-211. But in this particular heat, they're all L-39 Albatrosses. Now, here's our jet class, Tommy. As I said earlier, we're on the 8-mile large course today, our fastest course. We're going to do 6 laps. Speeds are going to get up to and sometimes exceed 500 miles an hour. Now, in this particular silver class, our qualifying speeds are in the mid-400s, but you never know where we could go when we get up there as far as they go. Now, we talked a minute ago that they're going to line up on the pace plane. They're going to circle behind us on Peavine Mountain. They'll form up on the pace plane, line abreast to the right. The fastest or pole position will be right on the pace plane's right wing. Everybody else will echelon to the right beyond that. Then eventually they're going to come down the chute. Pace plane will lead him in. He'll make sure that everybody's lined up. He'll look to his or her right. And when they're ready and they're approaching the course, he will look and say, "Ladies and gentlemen, you have a race." He'll pull up out of the way. Now, they must stay in their respective lanes. And here you see a graphic of the jet course here. As they come down the course, they're going to stay. Here you see them line abreast. This is what we were just talking about, the pace plane right about here, they'll say, gentlemen and ladies, you have a race. The pace plane pulls up. Now, the aircraft can accelerate out in front of each other as they make their way to that guide pylon. They have to stay in their lane, and then they can make that first turn. And here's Jive, Jerry Kirby in race 11. What a great shot out of the cockpit.
Yeah, Jerry, we mentioned great start the last time we had a meeting here in Reno, but encountered a little trouble with his aircraft later on. He had high hopes, for sure.
And that you see the Airshow 360 in the bottom left corner there, courtesy, that's a group that Jerry and his wife, Lunar Sawyer, who I work with a lot on the Airshow circuit. Okay. Lunar's an Airshow announcer. Jerry flies a lot of aerobatic stuff when he's not racing jets here in Reno. So that's them, courtesy of their camera aboard his airplane today.
Well, this is a unique class. It's one of the newer classes here at this very legendary, iconic event. For a little bit more on a jet class, let's visit with our jet class president. He's in the race today. Let's visit with Mike Steiger.
Seriously.
We're the fastest racers in the world. We're the fastest motorsport race in the world, and we have the fastest aircraft. And we're up to 525 miles an hour, and that's about a design course speed that keeps us within the design parameters of the aircraft. We can exceed forces if we have a higher speed or a tighter course, but the way this course is laid out, our top speeds are about 520 miles an hour, 525, and that's pretty good. It's less than a minute going around an 8-mile course.
Mike Steiger, who won his gold at the in the cockpit of American Spirit, one of the 7 gold medals won by that plane through the years, the recent years. Here's the way they stack up. David Sterling, race number 8, being the first position. Mike Steiger, we just saw there. Diana Stenger, our rookie. Charlie Camilleri from down under. Jerry Jive Kirby. And Scott Farnsworth, another veteran of jet racing, the STIHL National Championship Air Races.
Yeah, Tommy, this ought to be a really exciting class. The qualifying times are very close, so it ought to be really exciting once they get going. Now, you heard Mike Steiger talk about the 525-mile-an-hour max speed. That's part of the FAA safety regulations that the FAA helps us with here at Reno. And in addition to that, we have a minimum altitude of 50 feet and a max altitude in portions of the course at 250 feet, especially along the home stretch here. That limits the aircraft with those altitude and speed restrictions to about 5 Gs on the maximum, so 5 times the normal weight of gravity. If you and I sitting here today, we sit at 1 G 1 times. So 5 times their normal body weight as they're pulling around that corner. You can imagine real athletes are piloting all of these aircraft here at the Air Races, but especially in the jet class. But those safety regulations really all play in together to keep everything in the safe areas, and if something were to happen adverse, it keeps everybody safe all the way around. So we're really excited about seeing this race as it comes up. Now, this race class started, Tommy, back as an exhibition in 2000. They used some MiGs for that, and I got to talk to a really good friend of mine, Robert Hoot Gibson.
Former astronaut.
Yeah, former astronaut. I was picking his brain a little bit about racing jets here, right? Because he raced in this class in addition to the exhibition. And he was describing for me what's going to happen in the cockpit as you come down that chute. And we'll see that here in just a second. He said as you get headed for that start pylon, and you see the throttle comes up to about 106% of RPM. You're looking at the engine gas temperature of the EGT in line, make sure it's there. They set the friction lock on the throttle once it's powered up, and then it's fly the airplane, go fast, turn left. Really exciting stuff. And here we see a live shot of Jerry Kirby doing exactly that.
Yeah, just making his way around the mountain there with the other 5 competitors in this Heat 1B, the silver class of jet.
12 o'clock now. Hold what you got. 19, bring it forward.
Tommy, you see here we heard the on the call there from the pace plane. We saw where they're starting to line up, and they're looking for the guide pylon out in front of them. And the pole position plane, which will be our race number 8, Dave Sterling, will lead the group. And you hear the pace plane talking to them, telling them they're lining up, they're looking good. And eventually they'll get eyes on that guide pylon. And like we said earlier, he'll tell them, gentlemen, you have a race.
Silver Jets, you have a race.
All right,
there
we
it
are
is.
good to go. We had them lined up, and they are ready to go, looking, as you say, for that guide pylon, and that will begin lap number 1.
Yeah, so we're looking for 6 laps here, and it'll be our 8-mile course for a little over 46, almost 47 miles, and there they are, headed down the chute, and we're about to hit pylon number 1. They got to stay in their respective lanes, Tommy, until they get to that, and then they can turn left. Again, you have to pass on the outside here at Reno.
Looks like race number 8, Dave Sterling, out in front right now. Red, white, and blue, the Phoenix. Right behind him, Mike Steiger, race 5:55.
Boy, that's nice and tight, Tommy. I'll tell you what. Steiger is right behind him. Again, like we've seen in earlier races, he's kind of getting a feel to see where the leader's going to go, what track is he going to take, where can I pass him, and you see now we got 3 aircraft. You can throw a blanket over all 3 of those, Tommy. Quite really intense racing, just like we expected here in this heat.
That's what we're looking for when you go through the turnstiles to come into this place. It takes your breath away to see these jets racing too, 50 feet off the deck. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. And the third place aircraft there is race 139, Diana Stanger, our rookie. Wow. Race one, two, first, second, third place. Look at that, right together. I mean, this is very tight. We've got tight racing all over the course, Tommy, but first, second, and third are all right together, and those speeds are pushing up around 450 miles an hour for this class right now. They're really moving. You think about the desert going by 50 feet below you at that speed, Tommy, it's quite something.
Yeah, that's 2 football fields a second.
Absolutely.
That's moving out. That's how close they're scaring the sagebrush right
there. There it is. See the Jackrabbits running as he goes by. It's race 11 with Jerry Kirby. Great shot from Jive's airplane. He calls that airplane Ivan. And we're in another one of the Aerovodahody L-39 Albatross aircraft. And they just make great race airplanes for here at Reno. Just go fast, turn left. Look at this pylon cam shot. Spectacular.
Fantastic. Dave Sterling keeping the pace. Flying the course he wants to because he can choose whatever he wants to do as long as he's out in front of the other 4.
And then we've got, you saw right behind him, Mike Steiger, followed by Diana Stanger. And,
Mike Steiger, who's won here before, won gold here before, so he knows how to win.
That was Jerry Kirby and Scott Farnsworth there on that last shot, and there we jump back on the screen. You can see, here comes our leader, Dave Sterling, in race 8. Look at that view.
Qualifying time, 431 miles an hour for Dave Sterling. He may be letting it out a little bit more here now that we're into actual racing for real, medal racing.
So Tommy, as we drop farther back in the field, just about a quarter of a lap behind, you can see a nice tight racing there with those 2, and here comes our leader around back around the front side.
Sterling opening it up a little bit. It was a little bit tighter than that the first lap and a half, and we're starting to get a little separation from the crowd right now. He may be a tough guy to catch. This goes by very, very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. We're only doing 6 laps here on our 8-mile course, but it goes by so fast, just like you said, Tommy. And those first 3 aircraft appear to be kind of settling into that position, and they seem very well matched. They're not really pulling away from each other either, though. Tommy, the L-39 was originally developed in Czechoslovakia by the Aerovodahody company, and it was a high-performance jet trainer. But it really is ideally suited to the regulations and the rules that we have for jet racing here at Reno, with the straight wing, the jet engine, and it just really is a great airplane to fit this go fast, stay low, turn left environment. There you can see our leader, race 8, Dave Sterling out of San Diego, California, that beautiful L-39 that he's flying.
He is moving out down through the Valley of Speed. Ready to take the final 2 pylons on this course in lap number 4. He is stepping out there, and man, oh man, he is opening up a little bit of space between himself and Mike Steiger.
And there's 2 views of Jerry Kirby. You can see the jet coming right at you, and you can also see it right out the cockpit. Spectacular view with that onboard camera.
Ivan from the inside and Ivan from the outside right there. Some really cool pictures we're getting.
Yeah, absolutely.
This first day of racing.
Jive is doing such a good job. Look at that line. He's nice and low. He's tight over the pylons. I mean, just a great line. Look at the shadow over the ground, how fast that 450 plus miles an hour looks like going that low, Tommy.
Absolutely breathtaking. Back to our leader now, Dave Sterling, has trying to do this thing wire to wire. Not an easy thing to do in any of our classes. Certainly not in jet, but he is making the case that he's the man for the job.
Yeah, absolutely. He's coming around pylons 8 and 9 right there and headed back into the home stretch. Here we can see him coming right back in front of the crowd. right in front of the
White
grandstands.
flag, white flag.
And, 1 lap to go, Tommy.
Took the white flag right there and leading the way, opening up an ever-widening margin ahead of Mike Steiger in race 155, the Phoenix.
This has been a great race all the way around, and kind of shook out a little bit, maybe like we expected it to, but they kind of settled into who was in what position, and they really have stayed fairly constant. We haven't seen anybody drop back real far from the person they're following, so it really kind of settled in early, and they've been able to keep at it and go fast.
Everyone's kind of stayed in their starting position, so this is what you would call a chalk outcome here. Absolutely, the predictions are all playing out.
Well, there you see Dave Sterling in race 8 coming around the final 2 or 3 pylons. As he comes down the valley of speed, you see him descend down low, get the max speed possible going forward, and there he begins his turn there at make those final 2 or 3 pylons and head home for the checkered flag here, Tommy.
Getting the perfect air and flying the shortest course, that is the recipe for a win, and that is what we are going to declare unofficially right now for Dave Sterling in race 8.
Yeah, that was spectacular. Great stuff. Unofficially looks like Mike Steiger in second and Diana Stanger follows him in third. So and there comes on the screen, you can see race 11 and Jerry Kirby jive as he makes that final turn, rolls into the home stretch. You can see him accelerate. He drops the nose a little bit. That throttles all the way forward, and there he is going across the home pylon, start-finish line, and climbs up to pitch up to land, Tommy.
All of our aircraft have now finished their 6 laps. Hey, hats off to Dave Sterling. Ran what you might call the perfect race.
Yeah, Tommy, where else in the world do you get to ride along with Jerry Kirby 450 miles an hour in an L39 at the Reno National Championship Air Races? Nowhere but right here. This is spectacular.
If that doesn't entertain you, I don't think we can help you.
Absolutely. Man,
So.
I'll tell you what, my heart's going just watching it. This is awesome. This is so exciting.
Good stuff from here north of the Reno Tahoe area. Historic Stead Airport, the STIHL National Championship Air Races. So happy to have them underway after a couple of years. Let's take a look at our unofficial results right now and pretty much our starting lineup. As far as positions go, David Sterling in race 8 taking number 1. Mike Steiger in the Phoenix taking the second spot. Our rookie Diana Stanger acquitting herself very well in Dark Star. That's an airplane we have seen in this competition many times before. Charlie Camilleri, such the very familiar Blue Ice, doing well today. Jerry Jive Kirby and Ivan in race 11, and Scott Farnsworth race 38 in Banff.
You're watching the STIHL National Championship Races presented by Reno Tahoe. You'll find the full show on Fox FS2 and FS1 from February to July.